Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Nuts and Bolts World of Tanks ANZPL interview. Today, I am joined by Ravi from the Brisbane Bulldogs. Ravi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I always appreciate the time that you guys give us to come and have a chat, and so that we can learn a little bit more about tanks. Because I know myself, I'm still very much a noob. I think I've got a level. No, not level. See, I can't even get the terminology right. Like a tier six tank, and I think maybe one tier seven tank. But I've gone back and trying to like grind a light tank because I'm just not finding it all that fun up there. So I'm still very much a noob. I haven't gotten right up into the tier eights, nines, and X's. So, but always glad to get your views on the game and see how things have panned out. So, just quickly, wanted to have a bit of chat with you guys. There's one round to go in the season, and unfortunately, you guys can't make finals now. But that doesn't mean that the season is over. Like there's still one more match, but you can still get out of that last spot. And this season is the first season they've brought in the promotion and relegation system with the B League. So this last game that you've got against Adelaide Action X is going to be very important because if you guys win, then you jump Adelaide Action X and avoid that relegation match. So, what's the feeling around the guys, and what are you doing to sort of prepare for this match?
So I don't know how much of the uh, interviews you've been watching in the last couple of weeks for ANZPL from when I've had one. We've been playing like more chill and relaxed, not
Mm-hmm.
really trying to try hard in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the mentality the guys have, it's like it's the end of the season. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. It's either way. It is what it is in the season. From my perspective on how the season has gone, we have really underperformed as a team due to the fact that we have seven players are very skillful players in their own way, and were able to get them together in some way, but it was just trying to execute everything on the game day, which was the
Mm.
hard part.
Yeah, and look, and you've been right in there. I think you've had the most or equal most tiebreaker games out of everybody with two tiebreaker wins and three tiebreaker losses. So it's not as if you haven't been up there. It's it's just that you there's that little bit where you haven't been able to find that magic formula to get the outright wins or take a couple more tiebreaker wins to boost you up that ladder a little bit because like even going to the last round, you're only 4 points away from the team in fourth, which is still a reasonably close competition.
Yeah, so this season as well, just looking at all the other teams, it's been a very close season in
Mm.
regards to everyone's sitting. It could be anyone's game. Like you could even see like if things went poorly, Scorpions they could add a couple of losses and they drop out of top four contention. Same thing with Conquerors. They will look like they may not be making top four, but they had a win last week, so now they'll back up. And for us, if we had won outright last week and this week, we would make top four contention.
Mm-hmm. Even if you took the tiebreaker win instead of the loss last week, that would have still put you in range of being able to make the finals. And yes, it's I say it pretty much every week, but I love the closeness of the competition. It means that every game matters, and like you only have to look at season three with Panthers coming from seventh to fourth and then making the grand final
Mm.
in in the last round, the last match of the last round. Like it's a really good competition, really exciting competition. Um, so I would like to have a bit of a chat about one of your games from last week. So this is the second cliff map. You guys were on attack there. So to me, it kind of started off a little bit differently because normally you see teams sort of try and rush the midsection here or hold down around the donut there. But you guys, at least for the first little bit, were content to just hold this southwest corner, like from G1 to 6. So, and I know you spotted out Lightning Man in his CS63 as he was crossing up here and managed to get a shot onto him. But what were you guys thinking? What was the sort of play you were going for? And yeah, I know you said you were trying to just have relax and have a good time, but this does seem a little bit different for Cliff.
So this is probably the most practice we've put onto a map all season. We actually were in a training room about for an hour, hour and a half before our game on Friday, just practicing what Panthers are going to do because we had a good idea what they were going to bring. Two CSs for starters, and if we did see two CSs, we can from this position here, our VZs can punish at least get a shot each, maybe 2 shots each into the CS crossing here. But if they don't send a CS here, then we'll spot this CS going hill, and the VZs can sit here and shoot this position. So I'll draw it out for you. That way you can have a look. So that's the line that the VZs can see from this position right here. So straight away, we're looking for early damage. That way it would help us in a brawl, really punish them, try and put them on the back foot and get them to sort of panic a little bit. But in the end, when it comes to a brawl, we've got the advantage because we've got the hit point. We're up in hit points.
Yep. And it worked for you there because once you did get a shot onto Lightning Man in his CS63, and then when you did decide to push, your Backchat that was over sort of H4 who's rotated around for the VZs and the 277 there, and like you're almost sort of isolated Goober here in his Backchat, but I think he saw it coming and has scattered off in that direction. But you have managed to get Lightning Man in the CS63 to go the tank up there, and the two VZs here just sort of hung back a little bit, and I know I think they put couple of shots into you guys as you crossed here, but not as much as I probably would have expected. So with some relatively healthy tanks that may have only copped maybe 1 or 2 shots, what were you thinking? Were you sort of thinking ahead for the eventual push that you took down onto the VZs, or were you thinking maybe try and take out the Backchat? What was going on there?
So once we made the push through here, we said, well, we need to commit up and to at least get rid of the CS because this VZ CS can't sit here when we still have our Crown Bunk here. So if the CS pulls back around the corner, the Crown will be able to shoot him. But if he stays forward, the 277 the VZs can shoot him. When we actually pushed through here, they spread their damage across all 3 of our tanks. So that's probably a big mistake by them. So all 4 of their shots were spread across 3 tanks. I think only 3 of them hit. So I think each tank got shot once. So, which was actually kind of handy for us. That way, when we actually were able to re-push this, we didn't have to, sit one guy back. We could just push me around and the VZ stay in the front. I took this building. So I think I came around to here, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, that's actually our next slide. So you see where you guys have just started to dump around onto those VZs after getting rid of Lightning Man. And and basically from here, when you got that overmatch, like I think Madhouse was down to maybe 600 HP there, but it didn't matter. Like that was a 3 versus 2 battle there, and you should always come out ahead there. Like you've got 2 VZs versus an object 277 and 2 VZs. Like that's your fight every day of the week.
Yeah. Just this map, Cliff, it's the caster said that it's a map that we hid. I don't believe that. We just never really we scrimmed it, but we never really did well. But with the couple of weeks that we did play it over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I think it was, we sort of knuckled down and try and find something that we are comfortable with. And obviously with this strat here, this is something that we just prepared on the night because we were thinking Panthers are probably going to do this to us on their defense. Let's try and get some early bleed. If we get some early bleed either on the CS going heel or a CS going one line, it's going to help us when we have to make a push. And even though we've got at least 3 tanks set up here, we can't rotate back around and push through this if they've got tanks here. So this is the ideal play that we need to do. Yeah.
And it worked for you because once those 2 VZs were out of the way there, it was just a matter of time. And Karath was very impressed with this play here on the broadcast, with the way you set up the Backchat here in the VZ here, because Goober was down to a 1-shot from a Blindfire because he was up in A5 here, and Bucket is just he had one shot left in his clip. He's blind fired into that spot and just copped Goober and brought him down to a 1-shot. So, and then the way you've set up here, you've got your Backchat and the VZ here to punish Goober in his 1-shot Backchat. the Kranwagen on Overwatch and the 277 just providing that cap pressure there to bring the Panthers out, and then you knew that the Backchat on a one shot is probably going to come in for the sneaky back play here, and you'd set up for it. And yeah, if it wasn't over before, then it was then.
Yeah, so with the Backchat coming up into here, there was probably the only route he could take, because if he came through this way and he came out here, Madhouse being up in here would have spotted him in the Backchat. And I think, and if anything, the Kranbang would have spotted him getting to here as well. And the same thing, he spotted the Kranbang spotted the CS coming this way, so that was actually helpful as well. With the Blindfire onto the Backchat up here from the Kranbang on hill, Bucket was saying that he's just going to put a random shot into here, the bush, and he didn't see any shell explosion. So he's like, I think I just hit the Backchat. We're like, awesome, let's just wait and see. And yeah, when the Backchat popped up here, he was on 100 hit points.
It was a good, like, when you sit back and look at it, it was a good Blindfire, because you either want to reload or get rid of that shell. And at that point, you're just going, well, we may as well Blindfire. It's a spot that people are probably likely to sit. Let's just try it. And there, you got lucky. And I keep telling people, I play a weekend sport, and I keep telling people I would rather be lucky than good any day of the week. But yeah, after that, the last slide, JS has left. Madhouse has come up here, got some shots in. VZ's got some shots in. Everybody's got shots in. It's just going off there, and got you the 2-0 up on Cliff. And I must admit, like, you're saying your scrims haven't gone well, but you had came up with a couple of really good plays there, like the play in this game of holding back in this corner here. But even the game before, when you were on defense, I think it was you that was sitting up here just spotting out anything that came up this little track here to the donut. And that was really well played, because you never let a shot off, but it just lit up everything that came through that passage.
Yeah, it's like we for the last 3 weeks we've been going down to like one scrim a week, because it's like we were doing 2 scrims a week, either one on a Monday or Tuesday, and then we'd do one on a Wednesday or Thursday. And it just got to the point where the morale in the team was a bit low. So it's like, well, I want to try and fix that. And I just asked the guys, do you guys want to do 2 scrims a week? And they said, no, can we just drop it back to 1? I said, yeah, that's fine. I'm more than happy to do that. And it sort of like free up the guys a little bit. They weren't so tense when it came to a Friday, a bit more relaxed. And yeah, our comms improved a little bit, because nothing was like heated in a sense. I shouldn't say heated, but it was just
low key. Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't congested with our comms. But yeah, it was still good to see like the guys still had a bit of fight left, at knowing that with the win against Conquerors, we can make finals. We can still make finals. And then we win against Scorpions. That's when the guys said, we can really do this. It's like, I said to them, like, we can do this. We can still win. There's nothing saying that we can't win and make finals.
That's it. Just were you talking about voice comms there? What were the voice comms like after the first game, when Madhouse had cleaned up 5 tanks, like getting the killing blow in on the 5 tanks on his own?
So when they had the 4 tanks, Cows is like, oh, Bucker's got 4 kills, and Mad's like, I won't say the word, but he says, fire truck off. I'm getting this 5th kill. So he just YOLOs him. We're like, all right then, everyone just sit back. So and we found out that is the first 5 kill from anyone in PL in all the seasons.
I'm not surprised. You might see 3 the odd time, and maybe 4, but 5 is definitely a rarity. Well, one time, and I bet you he was super happy with that afterwards.
He goes, yeah, I got 5 kills, but don't look at my damage. And you go, like, I think it's 1,800 damage.
Good. That look, and I gotta say, I'm happy that you're doing well. Well, not so well, but the last couple of games, you've definitely pulled up a bit more, and that you're having fun. Like, if you're not having fun, why are we here? Like I've always said that about things. It's you get more performance out of people when they're enjoying it. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are having fun, and that that you've got this game on Friday night against Adelaide Action X. That I hope you keep doing well in it. It's going to be an interesting game. How do you guys think that you'll go?
Unfortunately, I can't play on Friday.
Oh no,
I have work, so it's a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
But the guys, I said to the guys to just play your hearts out. Either win or loss. At the end of the season, I'm still happy with what we tried to achieve.
Mm.
I even said to them, we all know we underperformed, and it's actually quite sad that I have to say that for a season like this, we have underperformed, and everyone knows it. But we don't let it get to ourselves. But unfortunately, I don't know if you've known this, but I am retiring after this season.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm a little bit sad to hear that, Ravi. Like it's always been a pleasure talking with you and watching you play. So yeah, I'm a little bit sad to hear that.
Yeah, and I think for the Brisbane Bulldogs team, at this stage, it's probably folding after this season as well.
Oh.
Unfortunately, yeah, a couple of our Queensland players they're going to retire as well due to the fact that it's a bit too much of a time commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So with our four, I think we've got 4 state picks, 4 Queensland state players. At least 3 of them are going to retire. Two of them are confirmed. One of them's a maybe. And the other one's going to redraft. So there's your Queensland state picks going for Bulldogs.
Mm.
And then the others are going to retire and redraft as well. So at this stage, Bulldogs probably will be folding, which is sad. But we've had a good run.
You never know if you hang in there against what is probably looking like, and this is getting a little bit ahead of myself, but the Cairns Comets coming up from the B League, if you do end up in that relegation match and beat them, then maybe you can just nick a couple of their players.
Yeah, it's a potential, but we have to get to that stage first.
That's it, yeah, and you can just avoid it by beating Action X next week anyway.
That's kind of what we want to do. We don't want to deal with a relegation match.
That's it. And Ravi, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, thanks so much for giving up your time over the last couple of seasons as well to have a chat with me. It's always a pleasure. And hopefully we'll still see you around the Twitch chat and everything for your retirement there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been an honour.
Thanks so much, Ravi. Very much appreciate seeing him there. Like I say it every week. I love the ANZPL guys. They're so giving of their time, and like it's sad to see Ravi retire, but in this league, it's still sort of an amateur league. So they're doing their best. The players are really great, and there's some prize money up for grabs, but at the end of the day, you've got to look after yourself. And yeah, it would be sad to see him go, but you never know. Maybe we'll see him back someday.
And who knows, there might be some up-and-comers that we don't know about, just hiding around the traps.
That's it. There's a whole B League there as well that might have some players that are looking to push up a little bit. Might have some other players that will come back that have taken a break themselves. So be very interesting to see. But other than that, Natty, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing okay. I told you before I'm fighting with the frizzy hair gods today. It's been raining all day in Adelaide. But no, doing okay otherwise. How about yourself?
Been doing good. I do like my my Wednesdays off, as I'll keep telling anybody that will listen, go part-time if you can. It makes a difference, even if it's just a day off during the week. Yeah, my mental
Wednesday's
health,
the best day to have off.
It is so. I used to think like a Monday or a Friday would be the best day to have off and then have the 3-day weekend, but having that breaker in the middle makes a huge difference.
Oh, definitely. Just the idea you never have to work more than 2 days in a row. And whenever you do get public holidays, you get those as well.
Oh, you know what? I was sitting there thinking, this is going to be great. And then, like, Anzac, was it Australia Day, I think, was on a Wednesday. And I went, well, crap, I missed out on that public holiday, didn't I? I didn't get paid for that one. But no, it's going to more than make up for itself as we go along. So be very, very happy with that. But we have lots of stuff to talk about tonight. And we're going to start with some more ANZPL news as well, because Yeah, we spoke to the wonderful Ravi there and about the Brisbane Bulldogs game against the Perth Panthers last week. But there's a whole heap of other games that happened as well. So let's have a look at the results. And I keep on needing to remind myself to buy a USB extension cable so I can bring that Stream Deck closer to me.
We'll remind you at end of stream.
That's right. I'll remind myself on the drive on the way here like I did today and last week and the week before. But yeah, so the results, another 2 tiebreakers this week. It was still very, very, very close with the Christchurch Conquerors getting up over the Adelaide Action X there, 3-2 in a tiebreaker. And one of probably, I hesitate to say surprising, but North Sydney have this way with South Sydney. The Sentinels just always seem to get up over the Scorpions, and it's been reverse sweeps in the last couple of outings that they've had together as well. So we were kind of expecting a tiebreaker there too. But no, Scorpions come up with the goods and took the 3-1 victory there. And of course, for that last game we're talking about, Brisbane Bulldogs and Perth Panthers. Perth Panthers won 3-2, but there was some absolutely thrilling moments there as well to see. So very, very... It's a little bit sad because at this point Brisbane can't make the finals anymore. Adelaide is still a chance, Natty, because they're sitting... Well, actually, let's flick over. Let's have a look at the ladder.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brisbane unfortunately can't make the finals at the moment, but Action X still have a chance of getting up there. So, get the win.
That scoreboard is just nuts looking at the wins. Like, just so tight.
It is ridiculously tight. Like, even... Look, I joke about it because it's very much not likely to happen at all. But there's a world here where Panthers can end up on equal points as Scorpions on top right now. And even Adelaide, if Adelaide get the win, they could be anywhere between 3rd and 5th, depending on... I'm not quite sure how they do the tiebreaker points, whether it's points for and against or whether it's like a head-to-head sort of thing. But I'm sure there will be somewhere... Somehow they work it out. I did start making up a spreadsheet about probabilities, and then I realised this is a bit of a waste of time because I don't know how they do the tiebreaker results there. But yes, it's very close. And when we have a look at, let's have a look at the fantasy first. Just check that out. And as you can be expected to guess, it's the teams that were in the tiebreakers that come up with the points, and Bucket up on top there, 373 points. That's a mammoth game there. A little bit, I guess after what Ravi said, because the game we analysed with Ravi there tonight, the one before that, Madhouse got all 5 kills in the game, and that's unheard of. Like, it just doesn't happen. One player does not get all the kills. But he did, and then Ravi saying, yeah, but he only got like 1,800 damage, so we just come in at the end and managed to kill them.
Oh, so he got the last shots off rather than doing the damage before. Yeah,
that's it. So that was interesting. And I thought he might feature because he did pretty well in there. One interesting thing to me, Twit there, 5-star Tanks player, on the team of the week, nobody picked him. Picked by 0%.
Yeah, nuts.
Twit, what happened, man? What's going on?
No, nobody was giving him the love.
That's it. Even like Iron Guard and Saxon. Well, in fairness, like I'm looking at this now, and 3 of those people were under 10% picked.
Yeah. Oh, that is a really interesting stat to look at, isn't it?
And I mean, this is also what I like about Tanks and the different roles that they play, is that some days you'll come out and you'll be right on top, you'll get that damage or you'll get that spotting damage, and your team will do really well. Sometimes the role that you play is slightly different, or the strat that your opponent brings isn't what you were expecting, so you're not in a position to farm up. So it's I'm very, very interested in that. So, like I said, numbers person. And just seeing these little anomalies there just strike my fancy there. But of course, we do have the games for next week as well. And this is where it gets interesting, because you've got first playing 4th in the Scorpions and Conquerors. Then the second game, you've got Bulldogs versus Adelaide Action X to find out who is going to play that relegation match. And then in the last game, you've got first versus third. second versus third in the Sentinels and Panthers game. So like I said,
It is. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say it was really interesting hearing the discussion you were having about the Bulldogs players and a lot of them looking to retire, and you wonder how that might impact relegation if they do end up being the bottom team, if they'll go ahead with that, or how World of Tanks might proceed.
Yeah, it is. It would be a very interesting thing there to see what happens, but hopefully we'll find out. But I just would before we go there though, because we've been talking a little bit about the B League as well and the possibility of one of those teams entering the ANZPL. They've entered their playoffs already. So Monday night saw the first of their playoffs. A little bit one-sided, as you can see here. So the playoffs shift from a best of 5 to a best of, was it 7? Yeah, best of 7 format. Had to do math, then almost needed to yeah, cool. We're good.
That's okay. We got you.
That's it. So a little bit sad for the Wolverines. So the Wolverines and Centurions played in the lower bracket elimination final. And unfortunately, they're gone now. So Wolverines have exited the playoffs. Now, for until about round 3 or 4, they were undefeated. They had not lost a game, and then they came up against the other undefeated team in the Cairns Comets, and they lost. But they also had a little bit of a downward slide there and lost again the next week. So we'll put them in third to play off against the Centurions. And then the Centurions come along and they have a 4-0 whitewash there. So that's unfortunate for the Wolverines to be going out the back door, but the Wolverines going out the back door. Centurions get to move on to the next round, and they play the Bundaberg Badgers, who were defeated by the Cairns Comets 4-1. So the Badgers are the new team for this season as well. So I'm glad to see them up there. They ended up finishing second on the ladder, and their games, it was sort of the almost games. Like they almost had the good strat. They almost were able to compete, but Cairns Comets just showing what class acts they are there. I'm
glad the Badgers are still in it.
Me too. So now let's have a look at how it's going to go with this wonderful graphic that I did not make up in 20 minutes today when I had some spare time.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
Yep.
You
I
even matched the blue background.
Got to keep it color coded, you know. I couldn't get the gradient going, but I got that. So.
Oh look, it's good. It's good.
It is.
We'll take it.
That's it. So you can see Bundaberg Badgers going down to versus Centurions, and Cairns Comets straight into the grand final to play the winner from the Badgers and the Centurions. So that's going to be amazing to see. So the next game, Monday night, on twitch.tv/World of Tanks ANZ. And of course, the last round of the regular season for ANZPL happening Friday night on the same channel from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm getting a message that one of the weekly show people is here downstairs. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to flip across to the farming sim stuff, so you can have a bit of a chat, Natty, about that.
I can do that, absolutely.
Sorry, we're flipping around a little bit, but I'll just let Natty have a chat about that while I go and lump someone in.
Awesome. So Farming Simulator kicked off their online season earlier this month, and I don't know if anybody is following any of the Farming Simulator esports, but these teams have just been at it for a while. This is the 4th season for them, and there was some really crazy and amazing highlights going on. So the aim of the game when you're playing Farming Simulator esports is to try and get as many bales of hay loaded into the shed, but there's also a multiplier factor at play. So each bale is normally 10 points. You can see them getting them up that crane there, but if you have collected grain and deposited grain, then that will increase your score multiplier for each bale of hay. So there is some strategy between the two teams of the timing of when you are depositing your grain and when you're depositing your bales. But there's also a few other quirky things, like you might have seen that a few times there's some bridges that they have to cross over, and if somebody else crosses the bridge raises. So what we saw in the finals a few times was as one team beating the other team to the bridge, and then the other person driving off the bridge because it was lifting and they lost their load.
That sounds hilarious. And I noticed in chat as well, DJ Drifter was saying he had no idea it was a thing, but noticed the latest farming simulators come to Games Pass. I saw that the other day as well. I installed it because I just want to give this a go. I want to see what it's like.
Yeah, oh look, I really love regular farming simulator because it's quite relaxing. I mean, I have trouble driving in straight lines, but other than that, it's a really relaxing game if you like any of those kind of marketing / strategy simulator style games where you're a bit more hands-on.
So just
really,
quickly,
really
for those
good.
watching, you were talking about the bridge. I did notice just as we were talking about it, right here, bridge goes up.
Yeah.
Gets over.
So you had a few people tailgate really close and then fly off, like as you mentioned, just there. But a couple of people ended up in the river in the finals, which normally it doesn't happen as much in the high level play, but we definitely did get a chance to see it. I call it turtling. One poor guy ended up with his tractor on his back and couldn't get his load back up again, and it was just no. But we're seeing the highlights here mostly featuring Trelleborg. So they were the ones that won the first online season for 2020. First online tournament for 2020.
Just quietly,
and
that air that they just got up shooting those hay bales into the farm.
It's crazy. The strategy around what tractors and the equipment that they take, because you get to choose. It's like if anybody watches League of Legends, you can actually ban certain equipment as well. So if you've got a favourite piece of equipment because of the way it handles or how much speed you can get, you can take that. And another thing that I find really interesting as well with Farming Simulator is that they do have a multiplier and a augment that kind of comes into play. So at a couple of points during the match, there's a bonus that pops up, and you can choose when you pick that up, and it can impact all sorts of things, like give you extra points on your hay or give you extra speed and a few other things. So it's an extra variable in the mix.
Definitely one to keep an eye on there. I just want to go watch the VOD now, just because I'm watching these tractors like breakdance and just poop out hay bales, as Reflex said the last time we were talking about it. But it's really cool.
Yeah, so if anybody is interested, the European League, the next online tournament is on the June 4th and 5th. So that is coming up soon, and they do have English broadcasts as well, because sometimes they've only just had German broadcast, but they do have the English broadcasts as well, which is really, really good, because then you can follow along, and they are so receptive to questions as well. If you tune in on Twitch, I was asking all sorts of questions about why the bridges were going up and how they managed to score more points for different things, and they were very receptive to my newbie questions. So
that's awesome. I do love a good receptive community that likes to teach you. Like I've always heard, and granted I haven't played ranked, but I've always heard not nice things about League of Legends community. But the first time I played that, and just unranked, the people were so nice. Like my first 3 games, like I told them, I am nude, please don't hate me. And they were welcome. I had like 3 friend requests from the first 2 games from people that went, cool, just hang out with us and we'll help you learn. And it was really nice.
It is good. Yeah, I completely agree. A community makes the game. I guess only other one unique thing I want to talk about with Farming Simulator is that they're currently playing on the 2019 edition, and there is a new update for that's just come out. So if anybody is still playing Farming Simulator, they've just released a new update as well.
Yeah, because I noticed that 2019 was actually leaving Games Pass, but 2022 has just come on there. So if anybody wants to have a go, maybe you can make it as an esports pro with Farming Simulator. Give it a go.
Oh, yeah, definitely do it. If you can drive in a straight line, you're doing better than me.
Oh, but one thing that I am unfortunately been snoozing on a little bit is MSI is still going on. So the League of Legends mid-season invitational still happening. In fact, I snoozed on the whole Rumble stage. It's been and gone. It's happened. And admittedly, I stopped sort of paying any attention to it when Order got bundled out. But yeah, I will take one solace from Order not winning a game there, and that is the two teams that they were playing against are in the semis.
Yep, absolutely. So both G2 and Evil Geniuses are into the semi-finals, which is, great. We want them to do well, because then we lost to the winners, right?
That's exactly it. Yes, and Evil Genius. I remember we were talking week before last about, is it Evil Genius or Evil Geniuses?
Geniuses.
Well, just quietly, I'm looking at a tweet that is tagging the teams that are in it, and the handle is Evil Geniuses.
Yes.
So I don't know whether they've just lost, they're like somebody else had that tag already, or and they just went for that, or if that's the actual way. But I'm going with that's the actual way to say their name.
we can make it up. Nobody will know.
That's it. Who's going to go investigate that name? Not me. Definitely not me. I do not do research.
The Rumble stage has been absolutely interesting. That I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about the issues with the latency, just because there's still one team that's offshore playing in China while everybody else is playing in Korea. And so there's been some issues around that. Some matches had to be replayed. And
didn't RNG have to replay all their group stages?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Despite that, there's still been a few voices in the community that are saying they haven't been able to get consistency of latency for the players that are playing at the home base. So RNG are getting a consistent latency, but the players that are actually at the event and the teams that are actually at the event, they're dealing with inconsistency, which is worse than if it was predictably high or low. They could kind of manage that. So unfortunately that hasn't quite worked out as well as we'd hoped, but it's still good that MSI can come together, and we're seeing some really competitive games. What has been most interesting is that G2 won their first 5 games in the Rumble and then went on to lose their next 5. So they had a real roller coaster to make it into the semis, but they did get there.
I was going to say, how did they get there? Because that's like with that 50% win ratio there, because Rumble stage is still a group stage, isn't it? So the top 4 go through to semis.
Yeah, so there were some more games after that.
Oh, okay.
So then it brought them up. But I am not an expert by any means. I was talking to somebody else about this, and they were just saying that G2 had a really good draft. They were drafting consistently a similar kind of draft and playing a similar kind of way. And then a couple of the teams worked out how to disrupt that. And it just kind of threw them off a bit.
Winning in draft.
Yeah, and Vietnam picking up a couple wins as well, with them being a minor region, was really, really exciting in the mix as well. But
I'm glad for that, because they couldn't make it to last year's MSI, so I'm glad to see them have some success.
Yeah, so I believe the semi-finals are this weekend on the 28th and 29th.
27th and 28th, so one Friday and one Saturday. So I'm not sure what times they are, but they'll actually be at reasonable times because it's being played in Korea, which is similar time zone to us for a change.
Yay!
So good. So yes, keep an eye out on that. The Riot Gaming channel will no doubt have that on there. So go follow them and check out the finals there. And I'm guessing a week after that, we'll have the grand final. See who's going to be our MSI champs.
Yeah, really, really exciting. And it's good to see all the different strats coming through through MSI.
So a bit more of a light-hearted one that I wasn't aware of, but you flicked it my way in the chat that we have about 100 Thieves are apparently producing a video game.
Man, these esports teams, they just get into everything, don't
Yeah.
they? It's good though. It's really
Hmm.
good. I think we've seen 100 Thieves really be quite progressive with some of the partnerships they've made. I think we spoke about their partnership with Little Nas X at the end of last year, and I think they've just been going out of their way to reach out and try new things. So this is along that same path of just them reaching out and going in different directions.
Yeah, it's they haven't actually said what they're making. There's like an 8-minute video that said basically we're making a video game because we want to. But I did see there was one name that was involved, Pete Hawley, who has had a hand helping develop Fable, Black, Little Big Planet, and Killzone. So those are 4 reasonably different games. So it could be anything. Like, you have no idea. Oh, and he was an executive producer on Burnout Paradise. So just to throw a racing game in there too. So
It could be anything. It could be esports. It could be a chill game. Who knows?
And lastly, this one's a little bit outside our wheelhouse, but our editor-in-chief, Royce Wilson, Mr. Zulu there, he forwarded me something about a Catan state championship, which I did a little bit of a write-up for the Game on Oz website that you can go to at gameonoz.com there if you want to have a read of our stuff there. And yeah, I just find it interesting that it's a board game that's having state championships as well as a Australian championship, and then in November there will be an international championship.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool that it came across our desk, just because obviously we tend to tackle the esports, the electronic sports, as Mighty Blue shared with me on Tuesday. Yeah, I just think this is really exciting that face-to-face gaming is coming back. We've been talking a lot about LAN events coming back, but it's really exciting that board game events are coming back too. So really exciting. When we shared your article on Twitter, it was really interesting to see we had people from the US and a couple of people from different regions in Australia and New Zealand be like, oh, I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting that face-to-face board games are coming back.
Yeah, I saw Nerds of the West get excited. So they're another sort of WA Twitch group. They got, Catan's getting a championship. So if you are in South Australia, they're going through some heats at the moment that I think are ending up in June sometime. But also Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria have their heats happening fairly shortly as well. The winner gets $1,000 towards travel to make it to Canberra for the Nationals, and the winner of the Nationals gets to go to Malta for the World Championship of Catan.
Yeah, that's so cool that people are getting to travel for board game championships.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
Even reading into it a little bit as well, Catan does every 2 years. So that's biannually. And I think biannually, I always get confused.
Biennial?
No, biennial I think is twice a year.
It's twice a year?
And biannually is every 2 years.
Every second year.
So they do it biannually. And of course, what was 2 years ago, COVID at its height. So they haven't, it's been 4 years since they've had a championship. So it'll be really cool. And I noticed as well in researching this, the people that had qualified before the 2020 championships were cancelled also get entry into this. So they're accommodating those people too, which is really awesome.
Oh, that is lovely. I kind of feel bad for people who might have qualified and been at the peak of their board game athleticism. They were all training and getting ready for it, and then they might have never played a game of Catan since.
Well, fingers crossed it goes well, because I would love to see it. And if you're interested, you can enter yourself as well. So the winners of the state championships get their spot held for them, but you can go into like an open style thing in Canberra and try and get entry that way. Yeah,
it's really exciting. Anybody's in for a chance to win it. So if you're keen, go for it.
That's it. And I think that's about it for us tonight. Natty, I haven't got anything more to talk about.
No, I just wanted to very briefly mention that BAM was on a couple weekends ago, and Jaeger, one of our riders, got to go and came back with, thankfully, not the spicy cough, but the BAM flu, I believe he dubbed it. So we're hoping to get a bit of an update from him from the event when he's feeling a bit better. But it was a great event from all accounts of what we're hearing out from Jaeger and other people that attended. It's absolutely awesome that we're getting back to live in-person events.
Can't wait for it, because the ANZPL for World of Tanks has their final at Fortress Melbourne on the 25th. Of course, we've got DreamHack later in the year in September as well. We've got all these amazing LAN events. So if you can get there, support them. It will be amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Natty, for joining me as well. And we will see everybody. Well, I'll see everybody in a minute again, because the weekly show is going to be happening very soon. We had a little bit of a scheduling flip that we needed to do. So we were up first tonight, and we'll be back for the weekly show very shortly.
I hear you have a special guest.
We do. You'll be able to see who that is when you stick around very shortly.
All right. See you straight.
Bye. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. If you like what you've seen, why not check out this video here? Or if you really like us, drop us a subscribe. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.